Hi, good morning. When this topic was first given to me, my first thought was, it was about a month ago, my first thought was it's impossible. I cannot actually reduce a sea to a pond. It will only grow to become an ocean and maybe larger. So the next 15 minutes, I want to walk you through what I actually thought is near impossible to be able to simplify the sea and come into a framework. To get to certain solutions, I did two things. I called up a lot of agencies and CMOs to understand how they perceive marketing or advertisement. And I called up and I looked up a lot of the orders that had come to my organization and tried to assimilate the intelligence that was there in the orders to figure out what everyone is looking for. Some rightly, some may not be. Before I move forward, it's polite to start with a quick introduction of my company. Times Internet is part of Times Group of Bennett Coleman and Company Limited. It's the largest media company out of India, about 178 years young, with number one position in print, which is the newspaper, number one position in television news, number one position in radio, number one position in events out of home, and about 35 plus digital properties, which spans across various verticals, touching and engaging about 250 plus million monthly active users. So what I've tried to show is the various segments that our business operates in. We operate in news because that was the DNA of the company. Just in news as a category, we touch about 100 million users out of India. In sports, we touch another 100 million, which is primarily into cricket and soccer and so on. Music is one of the upcoming vertical for us, and we touch close to about 40 million users, highly engaged on the apps, listening to various languages and music in that. What is more interesting is that we look at Times Internet Limited as a pool of audience. And as the audience comes into any property, we use the platform to move the audience from one business to another. The point of my introducing this slide was that for every business that we run, there are 34 marketeers who are looking to market to that particular business. That is, the audience in one business is actually a customer for 34 of my other businesses. Let's go back to 1994. That's the first time digital media started, with the first banner ad in Hotwired. Marketing till then was quite simple. You used to do big banner ads, you used to do ATLs, you used to do TVL ads, you just used to think different. The next 20 years has been quite chaotic. With every year, the chaos has increased. I was just trying to look at the number of abbreviations that exist in digital marketing. Today, it is close to about 500 abbreviations or acronyms which just exist in this world. Let's look at some of them. So if you look at the entire landscape of digital marketing, it's very easy to get confused because there is complexity in 5 or 6 dimensions which you have to get your arms around as a marketeer to figure out what's the right way for you to build your product, build the brand of your product, and may ultimately try to ship it to the right target audience. So the complexity exists in multiple forms of platforms. You have platforms of various sizes. You have different kinds of ad formats. You have different kind of ad techniques. You have different kind of funnels and digital for last 20 years has been touted as, it's the medium where you can measure your responses, which further makes it interesting, but in retrospect also confuses the whole paradigm. So you can look at display, which was the earlier trend, content, video, audio, social, various forms of marketing, which has persisted across the entire universe. But what is the real confusion, and where is this? This is a news item which came about a month ago in Thailand, where there was a farm which was generating clicks, fraud clicks, to generate traffics. I don't know if it's an impression which isn't. So as you are a marketeer planning to look into what's the best way to deliver your ROI, you have to be aware of all the various dimensions in which you get to operate. This is perhaps the most important slide that I will try to use as a framework in which you engage the customer through the funnel. Your most important aspect to get is customer attention, and you want to get it at the top of the funnel, which is the reach. So the more audience that you can show your brand to is the first part of your task. You have to look at a customer journey in continuum. Once they have seen your brand, you want them to act. You want them to do something with your brand. Then you want to convert them, maybe help them do an offline or an online transaction with you. And then finally, when they are with you, you want to engage them to continue to increase the lifetime value and continue to have them as your customer through the life cycle of the customer. At every stage, consumer is part of a certain mindset, which is what we call the consumer stage. So moving from consideration to purchase to brand advocacy, where the product or the service that you are trying to target actually becomes viral in its own content, in its own context. A very important element in digital is data. It is applicable both at the top of the funnel as well as the bottom of the funnel. At the top of the funnel, as you use data, it's mostly demographics, it's geography, and it's the household income. You try to categorize them in your SEC-B segments, trying to understand what's the right demographics you want to go and deliver your reach to. As you move towards the bottom of the funnel, the same data becomes slightly different, but still as relevant for the existing customers. Now you're looking at intent. Now you're looking at behavior as to what will actually drive your conversion, which ultimately helps you convert that user into an active customer or a paying customer. So what are the three core objectives a marketeer has? They want to generate awareness, they want to develop considerations, and they want to do conversions. I will take you through three different kinds of examples, various formats as to how this has been achieved, and how you can look at it as a framework across display, video, and content. Content is increasingly becoming very, very powerful as to how you can navigate the user or the consumer down through the funnel from awareness to actual conversion. This is the display funnel. The first thing you want to do in display, this is the classic display model which started in 1994, evolved into various forms of interstitials, skyscrapers, various kinds of banners, various kinds of videos, which has impact marketing to you, but the primary objective is to generate awareness. The mid-funnel is interesting, which is evolving over the last 5 years, is where you do programmatic to target the same users using the data with more display and banner trying to give them more context about the product or services that you're trying to sell. And finally, to drive your conversions, you're trying to use retargeting and remarketing across the same set of audiences to generate a sale or a lead out of the. This is the example of a display funnel. You have a car or a SUV you want to sell. You have a full impact, which is awareness of your brand. You use programmatic, and you then try to drive them through a certain context into a final lead or a sale, which is your ultimate marketing objective. The content marketing funnel is upcoming, and it's getting the right attention at this point in time. So what are some examples of content marketing? Again, it goes to the same kind of funnel, driving through awareness, considerations, and conversion. Here is an example. A lot of you would have seen House of Cards. So you start with House of Cards as a content, a small trailer, which attracts you as an impact to get aware of that particular episodes. You then put some context in programmatic, targeting the same user, where it says why House of Cards is doing so well in terms of engagement. And then finally, you're trying to drive a click or a buyout of Netflix, with the same, using the content funnel. And the last point I wanted to make was the video funnel, which is over the last 5 years, a very important category. And with YouTube and a lot of players internationally growing and trying to grab this market share, again, you have to look in terms of the same kind of funnel, which is, even if it's video content or display, you still want to do awareness, you still want to do considerations, and then finally want to figure out how to do the conversions. This is an example of Ghana. It's a product which Times Internet has built as to how we did awareness across television and then tried to move them to consideration and then finally to a sale. So what are the important properties that one should consider when trying to take your marketing decision? You want to have a unified data stack where the audience intelligence sits. This sits across the entire marketing funnel, right from awareness to conversions, where you have to know the consumer that you are trying to target. That's the beauty of digital. And if you follow that, you will probably obtain the objective that you're going after. You have to select your platform basis the audience and the objective, depending on which industry you come from, whether it's consumer goods, FMCG, high tech, your objectives can differ. You might look for a lead kind of model, like in the example of autos, or you can look for a conversion, like in the example of e-commerce. But depending on the audience or the objective, you will try to target, you'll use the right metric to drive the objective, whether it's CPC, CPM, CPL, CPA. You want to focus not just on the installation, but you want to focus on the retention of the user that comes from the installation that is there. You also want to focus on, so if it's a fintech product that you're trying to build a marketing or a brand account, you want to focus on what kind of asset under management you're getting from that channel of customers that's coming to your particular brand. And these are important considerations as you look to segment based on the data, based on the audience that you have, as to how you segment and try to build that out. At Times Internet, we are a one-stop solution for marketeers working across all funnels, across all brand positioning, all visibility, and all performance. Depending across the network, we have about 250 million users with information and attributes across demographics, across intent, and across behavior, which can be used at various funnels, at various stages of the funnels, as you try to move across. And finally, this is the thought I would like to leave you with. As you move forward the chaos or the sea is only going to get bigger. But if you follow the basic set of principles, you can at least have a framework as to how to approach this and get the best marketing ROI out of this particular event. What we see, or what Times Internet is investing in, is 4 distinct and different components where we try to build our intelligence and build a stack which helps the marketeers more and more. AI and machine learning is something which is very core to us, and we have put a significant amount of investment trying to drive this. This has to be one of the next things for marketeers to look at as we move forward. The measurement is key in terms of attribution as to what is the right way for you to understand. A lot of marketeers do the mistake, and I really mean a mistake, when they give the attribution to the last click, which is from where is the traffic coming, but they are not considering the top of the funnel, which is helping you drive the funnel towards the last click. So if you give attribution to positional attributes, that actually helps you get the better value of attribution. Finally, audio and video, as the clarity in video is becoming more and more important, cost of data across the world is coming down. I think video becomes a very important platform for all of us to focus and do a marketing. That's all from me. Thank you very much, and appreciate that.